Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
This is the Cinereelists, episode 494. My name is Kyle.
My name is James.
And my name is Zach.
And we're here to talk about movies, movie lists, and movie obsession for the next hour or so. Happy Labor Day, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kyle.
What is Labor Day?
What do you mean, what is Labor Day?
I mean,
you don't
what
know
is
what
it?
Labor Day?
No.
Go ahead, James.
It's when we celebrate labor. All the people who labored.
We
all the
celebrate like workers.
All the people that do
Yeah.
labor. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's
I
a day.
want to
It's
say,
a day for the laborers to take off, basically.
Okay.
is it possible that Cesar Chavez had a hand in Labor Day?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Like,
What are you
normally,
trying to say, Kyle?
I would say I think Cesar Chavez is responsible for Labor Day, for
Okay.
making it a holiday, but I'm not 100%. So, like,
Sure.
part of me wants to just be firm and say, yeah, we have Labor Day because of Cesar Chavez, but part of me also thinks I could be making that up. But I know he was very connected to the worker and fighting for worker rights.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I could see it, but I don't know why here in the U.S. we'd be celebrating it.
Didn't Cesar Chavez fight for U.S.
Yeah.
workers?
Yeah.
I think I'm confusing him with the Cuban guy.
You're
Yeah.
thinking of who was his name?
Che Guevara.
Che Guevara.
Oh,
Yeah.
Che Guevara. Oh, I was thinking of the.
There's similar
wrong
names
one.
in my brain. They're obviously not similar at all, but they are in my brain for some reason.
Okay.
Hugo Chavez.
Yeah, Hugo Chavez. That's who I was thinking of.
Venezuela.
the president.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the podcast,
so-
guys. I'm excited about this one.
Me too.
I don't know why, but I am.
Is it because we saw a movie in the theater?
Actually, I wasn't excited about that part of it, to be honest. I absolutely could not find a screening that wasn't like nearly 100% sold out, no matter what. No matter any time I
Really?
tried. Yeah. I tried to go Friday. I tried to go Saturday. I ended up going Sunday in a packed theater, first screening of the day at noon. And so if they're packing them in at noon, they're probably packing them in all day and all night.
Wow.
Basically.
My screening was about 30% full.
Same here. I went Saturday at 2 p.m. and 1/3 full.
What theater did you go to?
I went to an
Regal.
AMC.
Regal and AMC. I went to AMC. I went Dolby. Maybe that was my problem. Maybe I should have gone for like a non-Dolby theater.
Are you still doing AMC like stubs or whatever?
I am. Yeah. I am not getting very much money out of it. But I am
You're not-
saving money month to month. It's just like it's a few dollars at this point. It's not a lot of money. Whereas pre-pandemic, I was getting away with murder. That's for sure on that account. But there's just not enough movies coming out for me to go see them at a movie theater and make it worth the trip, really.
Well, yeah, you get like 3 a week, right?
Yeah. 3 a week.
Are we even releasing 3 movies every week?
We are. They're just
Yeah, at this point, we are. Yeah.
We are. Okay.
This is part of the problem is pre-pandemic, James would absolutely go to the theater and watch a couple movies, whether he wanted to see them that bad or not. And post-pandemic, James is like, I'm just not that interested to sit at the theater for an extra 2 hours to catch the one that I didn't care about. You know what I mean? I could have very easily found a movie that started like around 2:00 and rolled from Shang-Chi right into the next one. And I looked.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, we got to collect that right now.
Sure, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
But there wasn't anything that was like, oh yeah, that's going to be worth it. That's not good for them. I mean, it's good for them because it's not like they would have gotten any extra money out of me. But, but if you can't get me to watch your movie in a theater, then you got a problem.
Well, they can't get you to watch multiple movies in the same day at the theater.
Sure. Right. Exactly.
But I think there are plenty of people who are totally fine with day and date movies and who have no desire to go back to the theater. People who would have gone to the theater because it was their only option. But now they don't have to. They're not going to.
Yeah.
And it's not just for COVID reasons. It's just because they don't enjoy the experience.
You know what? My opinion is anyone that feels strongly in any direction is a minority. That the majority of the people that go to the movies don't feel strongly anyways, and their behavior is not going to change.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think.
Okay. Free Guy. These are the movies I passed up. Free Guy. Already seen it. So nope. Candyman. Kind of interested in it, but I was going to have to wait like 45 minutes for the next one to start. Paw Patrol, Jungle Cruise, available online. Don't Breathe 2. Nope. Respect.
Available online.
Respect. Have you ever heard of? Oh, that's the Respect.
Aretha Franklin. Jennifer
Probably
Hudson, right?
Yeah, I could have seen that. Suicide Squad, available online. The Protege. I don't know what that is.
The Protege. No, it's who's the first Batman from '89?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Thank you. And it's like a female assassin. It's a movie where you're gonna find on Blu-ray in every pawn shop in like 2 years.
The Night House, which is a horror movie. Don't know what that is. Black Widow, Harry Potter, the first movie, Reminiscence.
That's the Hugh Jackman one. That's also on HBO Max. It looks like a Christopher Nolan style movie.
And finally, Backdraft 30th anniversary. I don't know who's clamoring for the 30th anniversary of Backdraft, but it's definitely their weekend if that's the case.
You know, last year, I was really hoping that COVID would clear up for the Backdraft 30th anniversary, and I'm really disappointed that we're still here. And yeah, it's I know Ron Howard feels the same way.
It's really a shame. Really a shame. For sure. The other thing is it's the first theater that I've sat in that was like elbow to elbow, and I was uncomfortable. I mean, I'm vaccinated, so the risk is fairly low consider it compared to somebody who's unvaccinated for sure. But I felt uncomfortable. I can't really explain it.
And I'm sure being in Florida, everyone was masked in the theater too.
No, I was the only one. I wasn't the only one. I was the only one. The people sitting on either side of me were not wearing masks, nor were they eating. But maybe they're vaccinated too. I don't know. But I wore a mask.
In my empty theater, we were all masked anyway.
Yeah, I would say that most people were not masked in my theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
we just all took turns sneezing on each other.
Hey, I mean, if you're gonna pass it around, might as well get it over with.
Right. For sure. All right. Well, we're gonna talk Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings today. This is the new MCU Marvel movie, which is pretty redundant, but MCU movie. And it's a movie that's only in theaters, which is why we probably saw it in a theater. But first, we're going to get into a little bit of housekeeping.
Housekeeping!
First up, we have is that too low?
Housekeeping!
It's low. It's not too low, but it is low.
Is that a movie or SNL reference?
Housekeeping!
You don't know
Tommy
what that's
Boy.
from?
I've never seen Tommy Boy.
You what? Kyle.
I've never seen Tommy
Kyle.
Boy.
Don't tell me things that are going to get you tossed from the show.
Tommy
Okay.
Boy, that is the line in the sand on this show.
It's one of them.
I wondered when you hadn't mentioned it in your top 100 yet. I figured you hadn't
Yep.
seen it.
I just figured it's going to be higher on the list because I
Right.
know it's. You've seen Dumb and Dumber, right?
Yeah. Of course.
We got a real Three Amigos situation here, Kyle.
Oh,
I had
my
to
God.
correct
He's-
this one for Zach. Now it's time to correct your mistake. You need to watch
Now we know
Tommy
Kyle
Boy.
is he's the black sheep.
I haven't seen that one either. Or Beverly Hills Ninja. Was that the other one he was in?
No, that
He
one
was
is
in that.
not Tommy Boy for sure.
Yeah,
But
don't
that's,
conflate the two.
that's Chris Farley, though.
You can
Yes.
continue having not seen Beverly Hills Ninja, okay? But Tommy Boy is required viewing.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say off the top of my head, the only Chris Farley movie I've seen is Wayne's World.
He's
That's not a Chris
has
Farley
like
movie.
one line in that.
He has a scene making scene, a star making scene.
A scene making scene. What's the star making scene?
Scene-making.
I don't remember what it is.
It's where he gives the directions about Mr. Big's limo.
Not a highlight
You guys-
of the movie for me, evidently, because I don't remember it.
Oh yeah, like Wayne and Garth, they need a beam Tia Carrere's Cassandra's performance to Mr. Big's limo because he's got the satellite dish on it, and Chris Farley is out there and he gives the whole itinerary of where Mr. Big is traveling. So that way they're able to aim the satellite to get the show right into his limo to save the day.
Is this Wayne's World 2 or 1?
No, this is Wayne's World 1.
He's in both.
Okay.
Where is he in 2?
The middle part.
Do you think in 2 is he the bouncer that's not letting Wayne and Garth into their own concert? Because there is a bouncer who's not letting them in, but I don't know if it's him or not.
He plays Milton.
In 1 or 2?
2.
Okay, well maybe he plays the same character in both. Okay, so I've seen 2 Chris Farley movies.
Tommy Boy is worth seeing.
I mean, is it now, like
Yeah.
30 years later?
I think you'll legitimately laugh. Even
Okay.
30 years later. I think it's pretty
Okay.
timeless.
Oh, timeless.
Pretty timeless. Yeah. Like as timeless as Groundhog Day is. I'm not saying it's as good as Groundhog Day. I'm just saying like it's a classic storyline that's not based around the time it was made. So,
Okay.
I think
I
Yeah,
will-
it's about a guy that works in the Twin Towers, and I think
and he meets the love of his life at the airport.
he's a home phone repair guy. And never mind.
You know, I was watching
yeah.
I was watching the new Netflix series on 9/11.
Me too. I'm watching that.
And I think I know everything about 9/11 because literally everything they've mentioned I already knew. Right? Have I gotten to that point where I literally know everything about 9/11?
No,
I mean,
everything worth knowing, everything that a like 6-part documentary would want you to know, I already know that evidently.
I think you probably know everything that's publicly known because we lived through it and we consumed it all.
Sure. That's what I mean.
I don't think.
Obviously, I don't know
I don't think you know
the things that are
everything.
unknown, but
Well, I think people know the things that are unknown. They're just not. It's just not for public consumption.
sure.
But if
I
you
mean,
go to YouTube, you can find out.
I guess if you stopped thinking or watching things about 9/11 like in 2004 or so, like probably a lot of the rest of the world moved on. Some of that stuff is new, but literally none of it was new to me.
well, the picture of George W. Bush looking out the Air Force One at the Pentagon on fire. I'd never seen that before.
Seen it.
Are,
I have
are
it
you
as the
confusing that with
wallpaper on
him
my
looking
computer.
at Katrina?
Okay, what about this? What about when they first went in Afghanistan? They knew where Osama bin Laden was, but instead of sending in like a bunch of American SEALs, they sent in just a Afghani force.
I knew that.
You knew
too.
that?
Mm-hmm. It was in my daily brief.
It was in your watch list. Well, there you go. Are you going to keep watching then? Or are you done?
I mean, I think there's only like 2 more episodes that I haven't seen. I'm still digging for something I didn't know. It's well made, so I'll keep watching it. But
Yeah, for sure. What's interesting is a lot of people are going to watch this that didn't live through 9/11, right? That are born after 9/11, and a lot of it will be new to them, which is interesting.
yeah, I agree. It's a worthy exercise. I was just hoping 6 hours. There should be some stuff in there that like dives a little deeper than what your average person knows. I feel like I have an average knowledge of 9/11, but evidently I have a filmmaker level 6-episode knowledge of 9/11.
Maybe you're not the audience, though. Maybe the audience are people who were too young or born before 9/11, or people who didn't consume everything when it was happening.
It's possible. I'll give you that. All right. This is actually the housekeeping section in which we remind you there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Cinereelists, find us there, watch this podcast while you listen to it. You can also
James, for the Patreon, can I give you a 9/11 quiz?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds great.
True or false? Jet fuel melts steel.
If you want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists, get extra after show audio where we kind of kick off the heels and, take 9/11 quizzes. You could also leave us an Apple podcast review. Leave us, 5 stars. Leave us some text in the review and we will read it on the podcast. Or you can send us an email to heyguys@cinereelists.com, REEL with an S on the end. Send a comment, question, list, suggestion, etc., and we will read it and discuss it on the podcast. Anything else, or should we jump in to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings?
We got to jump in.
Let's jump in heels first.
Heels first? Okay. We'll jump in heels first. Heels first? Like both legs first?
Well, no,
Is it
you say for
plural?
Patreon, we kick our heels off, which implies we're all wearing heels right now.
Okay.
Wait, are heels a type of shoe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure heels refers to high heels.
Oh, yeah.
No, like the heel of your foot. I said kick off our heels. I meant kick up our heels. Put them up on the desks and relax. Did I
I've
say
been wearing
kick off?
fancy high heels for these episodes. I didn't realize you guys weren't doing that. So let me just take these off.
All right. I digress. Let's talk Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Here's a clip.
Okay, let's get you ready to fight.
Wait, what?
Well, multi-platform global operation. Every fight live stream on the dark web. Thousands of viewers placing bets as we speak. This is gonna take your brand to a whole new level.
I think there's been some sort of confusion.
I like your spike face.
Usually, you gotta fight your way to Central Ring. But a viral star like you, front of the line, baby.
I'm not here to fight anybody. Okay, I'm looking for my sister, Shishale.
Never heard of her. We just lost a fighter at the last minute, so you get the next slot.
That was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, a 2021 American superhero film directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, starring Simu Liu, Awkwafina, Benedict Wong, Michelle Yao, and Tony Leung. The official IMDb plot synopsis for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is: Shang-Chi, the master of unarmed, weaponry-based kung fu, is forced to confront his past after being drawn into the Ten Rings organization. Sure. All right.
Does he use weapons?
Yeah,
no,
he does.
No, he's an unarmed.
Yeah, he does most of his fighting hand to hand.
I don't know how
Yeah.
you're unarmed, but you're also weaponry-based kung fu.
I would
No,
say like
unarmed weaponry based.
Meaning
no,
like
unarmed
no bullets?
means unarmed means no weapons. Unarmed
Right.
means you're just using your fists.
So how
if
are
he's
you
weaponry
unarmed
based-
and weaponry-based?
I just assumed it meant he was unarmed weaponry. I thought it was redundant. Unarmed weaponry.
Are you armed? No, sir, I'm unarmed. Okay, he has a weapon. Like the unarmed means no weapon.
Well, it's a terrible description because unarmed weaponry based. I don't know what that means. Isn't it an oxymoron?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's like they cancel each other out. You can't be unarmed and have a weapon. Okay, we're nitpicking.
Somebody
say a kung fu
somebody
master.
tell IMDb, the database, anybody can edit, that they need to fix their plot description for sure.
All right.
Even if it was proper English, it's a dumb way to say something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Latest Marvel movie. I think it's movie 25, something like that. in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Last one was Black Widow, which we watched just a few short months ago. They're kind of packing them in now because they're trying to catch up after the year off they took. How lazy of them. Yeah, this is the latest biopic. I don't know what you'd call this. Single hero.
Not that.
Single hero MCU
Origin story.
Origin story, yeah.
Origin story film for it.
Biopic, musical.
I mean, we all know the real Shang-Chi, and we're finally his story is being told on screen.
For sure. We all know that classic Shang-Chi story, and I'm glad we finally got a film adaptation of this character. So we're probably going to talk spoilers. We didn't talk about this before the podcast, but yeah, we're going to talk spoilers. So we're not going to talk spoilers up front for sure. We're going to talk them right now and then put spoilers at the end of the podcast. So if you haven't seen the movie, feel free to listen on right now. And if you have seen the movie, listen on and then listen to us after the credits of this podcast. And we will talk spoilers for Shang-Chi. What did you guys think of the movie?
I'll go first. I loved it. I loved it. I think it's maybe my second favorite Marvel movie
Of all time?
just because Endgame is a little tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved this movie. I was having so much fun watching this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with I can recognize things I didn't like in the movie. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but it gave me so much that I was jazzed about that I had a great time. So that is the short of it. I'm curious what you guys thought, but I loved it.
Well, I didn't like this movie as much as Zach, but I still really liked it.
Yeah.
This is the kind of Marvel movie I want to see now, where we're telling smaller stories. This is Marvel. They can't not make it part of the bigger world, but for most of this movie, it is really a small movie focused on Shang-Chi and his family. Yeah. And that's one thing. I mean, that's what I really liked about it, because I didn't feel like we were trying to save the world, or the stakes were personal, but they weren't world universe ending necessarily. I also like that we got a Marvel take on Hong Kong action movies. I enjoy kung fu movies and the Hong Kong style, the wushu style. I've been getting into more of those, both from like the 70s and more recent ones. And I was just seeing tons of callbacks to things I've seen in other movies before, but it was awesome to see Marvel incorporate into their universe. So, for example, you had there's a fight scene on bamboo scaffolding. Reminded me of Rush Hour 2, right? Great Jackie Chan movie.
Oh, totally.
The fight between the husband and the wife, which is almost a dance, felt like something on The Hero.
Yeah.
And then the training montages at the compound felt like something out of 36 Chamber. I just kept feeling like it was not copying, but it made it its own. But there's these nods to these other kung fu movies I've seen before. So the director, the choreographer had done their research. They kind of knew what they were working with, which I thought was great. This movie opens in Chinese. The first 10 minutes, or I shouldn't say Chinese, that's not language, Mandarin.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of this movie is in Mandarin, and it easily could have been English voiceover, and then, when they release in China, do Mandarin voiceover. But here is a major Marvel movie, and they're basically saying, you're going to read subtitles for the first 10 minutes of this movie. And I think that was a bold choice, but I'm great. I think it's great that they did it, and I want to see more movies, be bold like that. If I was to have a complaint, I don't think that Simu Liu was a great lead actor. I thought the supporting cast was much stronger. Like you mentioned, Awkwafina, Tony Leung. I thought he was fine. He was a good fighter, and he was fine for the role, but he wasn't really giving me the emotional journey that the movie was trying to give me. But as an action star, he held his weight for sure.
Yeah, I don't entirely
what'd you think?
disagree with Kyle. I think the only issue I had with the movie is that the elements surrounding the main character were far more interesting than he was, which is fine. I think I suffered a little bit of that with Black Panther as well. Like I thought the villain in Black Panther and the world that they built and those types of things were more interesting than just Chadwick Boseman was as Black Panther type of stuff. I mean, it got better when they actually in Black Panther, like, you know, move into like his family legacy and he's like visiting the afterlife and all that kind of stuff. But they very quickly move away from that stuff. And in this movie, they leave his backstory a mystery and they just kind of drip it to you over the course. But none of it makes him a particularly more compelling character than the motivations of his father, unfortunately. But that being said, the motivations of his father I found very compelling, and a bunch of the other characters I found very compelling. So the fact that all of the characters don't have compelling backstories, fine. You know what I mean? If you can give me a couple characters with compelling backstories, we're in business. And that's how I felt about the movie in general. I enjoyed it as well. I just found it to be a really good time, and it had been a while since I had seen a movie with martial arts in it that wasn't like a John Wick style movie where people are also firing guns and also just trying to like occasionally shock you with violence. This one was more like violence as entertainment, and it never took itself. I never felt like the movie took itself too seriously as to be like there's dudes falling off scaffolding to their death, but they're absolutely breezing by it like it's the most fun you can have on the screen, right? And it kind of worked because it was fun to watch. That, you know, your main characters just kind of bounce around, and then there were scenes that reminded me of Crouching Tiger and movies that we're not really getting a whole lot of these days, but we were 10, 15 years ago. And so I think there was enough distance from those and this that I was just like, oh yeah, I absolutely do love this style, and they're giving me a little bit of it. Kind of like with Winter Soldier, how that felt like a spy movie. This feels like a movie that slots in nice with all those other movies, even though it is a Marvel movie and it does have some of those Marvel touches. If I could criticize it, it's that it maybe looks like all the other Marvel movies. Like it didn't necessarily have like a unique visual style at all, but I had fun with it regardless. And not Marvel movies don't have to have that at this point.
Yeah.
I also agree with Zach that like you can't, at least I can't compare it to Endgame or any of the team movies. They're just a different level. They should be judged on a different level than these origin story Marvel movies, because the origin story Marvel movies just can't compete in like significance compared to those giant team up movies. But as an origin movie, I think this one is close to the top. It's definitely close to the top for a character that I knew very little about, if not nothing. So, like I literally knew nothing other than like this is a martial arts movie with.
I knew absolutely nothing
with like the 10 rings. I didn't even know. I thought maybe it was like literally rings on your hand. Like I had no clue. I hadn't seen the trailer. Nothing.
In the comic, I think it is rings on your hand.
Is it?
Yeah.
This movie made them like basically 10 bracelets.
I mean, they're still rings.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I loved getting kind of that mythology of these 10 rings and like how it gave the father character this power. And I loved seeing it executed. And I thought, the father and the mother were so compelling every time they're on screen. And you know, Tony Leung is like super famous.
He is
in Hong Kong.
You know, yeah. Well, in that part of the world, you know, In the Mood for Love, Infernal Affairs. I mean, 2046, The Grandmaster.
So he's he's like a Robert Redford get if you're into those kinds of movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's in just all, so many of those kind of great movies. Chungking Express he's in,
I mean, we're talking great movies, Zach.
Yeah.
You don't like Chungking Express?
I do not like Chungking Express, no.
I didn't hate it. I don't like the half of it.
We can get it. That's for another time. But
as far as a character who's like basically immortal,
mm-hmm.
he plays it so well. I really love the father character in this. I do disagree with both of you. I think Simu is a rock star, and I think this guy is going to be super famous because I found him to be this perfect blend of charisma and physically capable of all those action scenes.
Oh, I agree. I think he was charismatic. He was good at action, or obviously not good. He was great at doing the sequences. Maybe it's the story, but like James said, I just found his story and his acting around that emotion just not as compelling as everything else happening around him.
Yeah.
So
I also really liked his young version, that boy.
Yeah.
He was great. He was awesome.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Passable.
I just had so much fun with this, and I think the action scenes are awesome. They just give you that fun sense of kind of like a Jackie Chan type of fight, like in the bus and then the scaffolding, and then you get the wushu fighting, which I thought was just done very beautifully, and it was totally unnecessary. Marvel didn't have to attempt that, but they did attempt it, and they did it super well.
Yeah, they definitely succeeded. After that bus sequence, I now want a Speed remake with Awkwafina as the Sandra Bullock character.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think she'd be perfect in that role.
Yeah.
Who would be the action star? Who would be the?
I mean, probably Simu Liu. You could just remake. You could remake Speed with both of them.
Sure. Well, I'm trying to think because remember when Keanu Reeves did that, like people didn't consider him an action star. It was like a big turn for him.
True.
I'm trying to think of who could do that these days.
They would probably put like Timothée Chalamet in or something like that.
Ugh, no.
Exactly.
They probably would.
Yeah.
What else did I want to say?
Oh, so you guys were talking about like the character Shang-Chi. And the only thing I knew about him was he was created in the 70s and based on Bruce Lee. So I think they were trying to capture the Bruce Lee fighting style in the original character and carry that over into this movie.
Sure.
It didn't feel like a Bruce Lee rip to me, though.
If you look at the comic book covers, they definitely are.
It's basically Bruce Lee, the comic book.
No, I get that they did that in the comic book, but in the movie, it didn't feel like a Bruce Lee rip.
No, they definitely were making it an original character and not using just Bruce Lee style fighting, but all different kinds of Hong Kong style fighting.
Yeah, I didn't expect to hate it. I expected to be entertained by it, but I think I got a little more than I bargained for. Basically, especially in the end, like I thought they had a great build up to a finale. It all made sense. While that action was happening, it was big action, but it wasn't like Kyle mentioned, like earth-ending action. But there were still stakes, both physical stakes and also like emotional stakes, as far as like that where that finale was going to end up. And I liked how there was a lot going on the screen, and I could follow all of it. And short of like Suicide Squad, I can't remember the last like DC EU movie where it didn't just become so chaotic, where I was just like checked out. And there were plenty of moments where this movie could have done that to me, and instead it stayed fun and engaging and intelligible. Like the water scenes in that finale were amazing to me that they pulled that off, and it made some kind of visual sense. That seemed like a very difficult thing to put on screen and not have it just feel like a bunch of water on screen. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh yeah, if I had two criticisms, it would be one, there's some of the Marvel cheesiness in some of the non-actiony stuff. But a lot of it gets paid off in a satisfying way. You know, like there's callbacks to some things that are earlier that are cheesy later on. Like I'm glad it was in there because the callback to it was pretty great. And also it was pretty long.
Yeah, this is
I was
over.
enjoying it.
It's over 2 hours long.
Yeah. Nothing felt like extraneous, but it's you know, it's a long movie experience, especially with the, you know, half an hour of trailers they put at the front.
James, I agree that that final fight over the lake was very easy to follow. That was starting to push a little bit into the, if we don't stop this, the world will end. A little bit into it, but it seemed almost like a tacked on stake. Like they could have almost not have included that portion of the movie. It would have been the same movie, but it's Marvel and they need their big, you know, action-y giant set piece with all the special effects.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where you knew they were going to stop it right then.
Yeah. You didn't feel the stakes as an audience member.
I mean, they didn't build up what was going to happen in that scene enough for them to not nip it in the bud in that finale. Is this too spoilery? I don't know, but
no, but like you guys said though, I thought the dad's actions that led to all that all made sense. He was not just like an evil. I'm just gonna be evil for the sake of being evil.
I think he's one of the most compelling villains in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
him and I also think Michael B. Jordan in
Killmonger.
In Black Panther are both some of the best villains the MCU has seen, and they're also villains that are very humanistic, and they've just their counterparts, their heroes, have good reason for them to care about the person they're fighting. You know what I mean? Like there's a personal connection to it that is just in Black Panther and in this movie they build those very well. Whereas in some, like in Black Widow, I don't know, there just wasn't enough there for me compared to this or Black Panther.
For me, this movie benefited because I found Black Widow so average, where it lacked both a genre point of view and an action point of view. It just felt like a fun, disposable movie, where this one had both point of views when it came to the action and it came to the genre it was trying to crib from.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed Awkwafina and pretty much all the supporting characters. Like even the guy at the village who was like had a couple comedic scenes with her towards the end. Like pretty much all the supporting characters. It's not like they get like huge backstories or anything, but they all have their own individual personalities, and they were super interesting. And there's a bunch of stuff we're not talking about that was in the movie that also made it interesting. We'll talk about in spoilers, but yeah, I enjoyed my time with it.
It was definitely worth going to the theater for me.
Oh yeah.
I think I could have watched it at home. It would have been the same.
The action scenes to me reminded of like the type of movies I'd watch in high school and college, where you'd rewatch action scenes or like skip ahead straight to the action scenes and watch those again. It reminded me of those. Like I'd be excited to see those action scenes again.
For sure.
It's very good choreography.
So Tony Leung, he's a guy who's in mostly Asian cast films, right? But he's not normally an action guy, right? Or am I wrong about that?
Right. No. He normally plays like a depressed cop.
Yeah. I like that decision too. Like they could have gotten Jackie Chan or somebody who's very well known as a martial artist, and instead they like cast somebody who isn't known for that. I like that.
He's in Hard Boiled. And he has more of an action-y role. Like Chow Yun-fat's the main character in that. But he's playing a cop in Hard Boiled also. But right, definitely like Infernal Affairs, Chungking Express, not as action movies, more dramas.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Is that it? Spoiler free? Should we jump into the spoilers?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. But first, we're going to give it our letterboxed star rating. What did you guys give Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings? I gave it 3.5.
4 stars.
5 stars.
Wow.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
I think
I couldn't have asked for a more entertaining movie at that moment.
the only reason that keeps it from 4 or above for me is that I don't think I'm going to remember most of it. Like from the bigger universe perspective, I'm probably going to forget the majority of this movie. I'm not sure there's anything consequential in the bigger picture. It's probably unfair for the movie to be judged that way, but unfortunately, that's how those MCU movies are shaking out over the long term for me. But
Yeah, it'll be curious to see if and how they fit this into phase 4, whatever phase we're in right now.
For sure. Let's move on to our top 10 characters with a secret past. This was suggested by Zach, so I'm just going to let him take it.
Sure. Yeah, well, I was trying to think of a non-spoilery list that could go with this movie, and we see his secret past before we even see Shang-Chi. So I felt like it wasn't a spoiler. But he certainly had lived this normal kind of San Francisco life, and even his best friend didn't know that he grew up in this like secret organization with superhero parents. So for this list, what I tried to do was pick ones where people had a big secret past that other people in their lives didn't know about, which is slightly different than they had a big secret. So these movies are not, I have a big secret that I'm not sharing with someone. I really tried to have like they had a whole secret life that other people don't get to know about. So did you guys make a similar distinction?
Yeah, I tried to. Sometimes their secret past is their secret, but I tried to keep it to something where the character either they don't know. It's either a secret or a hidden past for me. So some people find out about their past in the movie, and other people have a past that they're keeping from the rest of the characters in the audience.
I gotcha.
I think mine follows Kyle's more closely, and then I also have some characters that literally have a secret past that they don't even put in the movie, and to this day we don't know what their past is.
Okay.
But they're
Nice.
characters that you're like, at least I would be interested in knowing what their past is, even though the movies don't give you anything.
Okay.
My number 10 is Phil from Groundhog Day. What's his past? We don't know.
I don't know if
No.
anybody's asking that.
He's a weatherman.
Where did he go to college? Is this his first job? Why is he stuck in a time loop? Who did he piss off? Was there a witch involved?
I mean, we kind of get that,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not what eventually gets him out of the time loop. I don't remember. Just that.
True
He
love.
becomes a good person.
Yeah.
He
He
becomes
becomes a good person.
Yeah.
So that's
But
the
there's-
that's the backstory. The movie starts. He's not a good person. That's all you need to know.
So are you saying because none of us are in time loops, we're all good people? Is that the
Yeah.
thesis of the movie?
It's exactly what I'm saying.
Sweet. I'm a good person.
Hold on. Just to clarify, you're not currently in a time loop?
Zach, what iteration is this for you?
I've been doing this day for 10,000 years.
Shang-Chi is my favorite movie because it's my only movie. And you're like, how you made that joke for the last 9,000 years.
Yeah. All right. My number 10. I could easily put Shang-Chi on this list, but I'll put Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that classic of the cinema. And just because I think it fits the prompt really well. You have a husband and a wife played by Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and they don't know that both of them are secretly hired assassins. And obviously have been living as hired assassins for a long time, but both of them just assumed they're normal, everyday people living their lives. Yeah. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This movie I enjoyed when it came out. I haven't seen it since. I'm sure it's pretty cheesy.
Do you like this more or less than Stealth?
Probably like it more in memory. Probably like it more.
Okay. All right.
Have you
I
seen?
do remember it starts with like these interviews of like actual couples, which was like unique.
Like Harry Met Sally style?
Yeah.
Have you seen Mr. and Mrs. Smith since like it came out?
Not recently, no.
I watched it like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it didn't hold up. I don't know why.
Oh, it didn't?
Oh, that does not shock me whatsoever.
No, it just it felt very much like a movie from its time. I would say.
That's interesting.
I don't
Is
know.
it a Doug Liman movie?
I think so.
Yeah,
Possibly.
it's Doug Liman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
I'll go
why I'd
next.
have hope for it, but
I remember the mall shootout being kind of cool when all like the Black Ops guys are dropping through the ceiling.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you'll watch it and you'll be like, "Wow, they've done this 100 times since then," and
Yeah.
all of those other things did it better. So,
All right, I'll go next.
nope, I'll go next. Number 10.
Oh.
Tenet. Tenet. Just so you can have the last word, Kyle, because I always go last. Tenet, the
Sure.
protagonist. Why him? Like, the movie literally gives you nothing. It's a secret past. We don't know. Why is he selected for this movie?
we don't know his past, but
he's-
does he have a secret past?
He's completely unnamed in the movie. They don't even name the guy in the movie. There's literally no backstory. It's a secret past. We don't know.
So James, you took it as a secret from the audience watching the movie, not a secret from like the characters in the film.
Much like the rest of the movie, he's a riddle. So
Everyone knows that Robert Pattinson is actually the protagonist's father. Duh.
I know.
Yeah, I actually think that too.
So James is just going to have movies where we don't know the backstory. What's going on?
There's a couple
from the
of them there.
audience. That's hilarious.
All right. Well, I made my list. Basically, the more the movie came up on this podcast, the closer it's to number 10, and the less this movie's been talked about, it's down number 1. Just because I want to try and do new movies, so there won't be any like Star
They're
Wars.
still on the list. They're just not first.
Well, no, I mean like obvious ones I left off because I don't
Okay.
want to talk about Star Wars for the umpteenth time. So there'll be some obscure ones and some well-known ones on here. So
I gotcha.
my number 10, probably the most well-known one, is John Wick from John Wick. When we meet John Wick, he's a man. He's grieving. He has lost his wife. He has lost his dog. He has lost his car. Okay, he doesn't lose the dog right away, but soon he loses the dog in the car. And then that awakens the actual John Wick, who is the most dangerous assassin in the world. And then the movie takes off from there. So that's his secret past. We don't even know. Do we even know if his wife knew about his past?
I think she did. And wasn't the car the second movie?
No, that's the first movie.
Oh, okay.
They do they take the car? Yeah, no, they take the car and then they go to the house to beat him up and kill the dog. Because the car shows up at who's the guy? This is terrible. John Leguizamo. The car shows up at John Leguizamo's chop shop, and he's like, "Whoa, this is John Wick's car. I'm not touching this thing." So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Cool. All right. My number 9 is The Departed. And I included The Departed on here because there's 2 characters that have a secret to their past that they are not sharing with each other, Matt Damon and DiCaprio. So, yeah, it's a undercover cop and a mole in the police department kind of a thing. And it was a good movie. I've only seen it once. I've never revisited it, but I'd like to.
Have you seen the original starring Tony Leung?
I believe I have.
Okay.
I'd have to double check.
I have not, but I sold a sealed copy of it on Blu-ray for like $60.
You should have opened it, watched it, then shrunk wrap it again.
Sure.
I did see it. I gave it 3 stars.
I remember liking The Departed more than Infernal Affairs.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah.
My number 9 is not a movie. It's a franchise of movies. It's the Mission Impossible franchise. What's up with this Ethan Hunt guy? We don't know nothing about him. Totally secret past. It's been like 6 movies. They gave us nothing. Obviously, it's a big secret. My number 9.
He actually, in the 3rd movie, doesn't his wife and like no one knows that he's this MI6 or not MI6, but like secret guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they never say like, oh, he used to be I don't know, a Navy SEAL or we literally know nothing about him, basically.
So James, you're doing a list of characters you want to know more about.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I don't know what you're talking about. You said characters with a secret past. That's what I've listed so far. 2 characters that have a very secret past.
Yeah.
Secret only because the movie just hasn't bothered telling us. Not because it's some plot changing device.
If you want to tell me what their past is, then I'll admit that it's not a secret. All right.
Okay.
Characters with a secret address.
Here is my assumption on Ethan Hunt's past.
Okay.
He was in the military, and then he was in the CIA, and then he was recruited for the IMF.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Right, but that's
just a guess. Just a guess.
That's your assumption. You don't know that you don't know.
I mean,
maybe his parents were killed after they saw a play in the alley next door, and that's what made him want to be a secret agent man.
So maybe okay. So if in movie 7 he's like, my parents were killed, Batman style. You're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, then it wouldn't be so secret, would it?
I'm trying to think of all the movies where I don't know the backstory of the characters, and I'm excited to see what might show up on your list.
Well, so my number 9 is Dave Bowman from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Why is he an astronaut? What brought him there? What's his motivation to travel to Jupiter? I don't get it.
Why the Secrets movie?
I should have thought of that one. I absolutely need to put that in my list somewhere.
Well, that's not my number 9. My actual number 9 is Nawal, who is the mother from Incendies.
Ooh, great choice. Really good.
Thank you. This is a 2010 movie. Denis Villeneuve. Nawal, the mother, passes away, and in her will, she tells her 2 twin children to do 2 things. And she says, find your father and find your brother. And the siblings go on a journey and secrets are revealed. That's all I'm going to say about this movie.
Yeah. That's a great answer. All right. My number 8 is Usual Suspects. And, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but there is a character that has a secret past.
We're not spoiling these? How are we supposed to talk about these?
No.
I think
we can spoil some of them. I'm just not going to spoil Usual Suspects.
Usual Suspects.
But I'm just not going to. No need.
All right.
Well, I'm going to spoil it.
It doesn't add anything. But there's a character that definitely has a secret past in this movie. And if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I rewatched this recently, and the combination of Kevin Spacey and Bryan Singer kind of just turned me off from the movie.
Yeah, I'm not super interested in watching a Kevin Spacey movie these days.
Yeah, it was hard to watch again because I was enjoying Kevin Spacey's performance, and I just felt bad.
Sure. Now I feel bad about my number 7. Or no, wait, number 8. I do feel bad about my number 7, but not my number 8. My number 8 is 007. Who knows who this guy is, right? We don't know his past.
James, I will admit that the history of 007 is much more compelling than Ethan Hunt. Because, right, is it the same Bond? Is it do they live in the same universe? Is it a
right.
Is 007 just a name passed along? I'll give you this one.
Even the individual Bonds, like they almost never give you any details about, why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Other than he's a spy.
this-
That's the only motivation. He's a spy.
Interesting fact. This list was actually inspired by the movie Shang-Chi, where we do know his backstory. It's just his friends in the movie didn't know it. And then he explains it to them later.
Sure.
He explains it to them like a third into the movie.
All right, Kyle, what do you got?
James, I'm really enjoying James' list.
I'm loving it.
All right. My number 8 is Vincent from Gattaca. Vincent is the Ethan Hawke character. And in the world of Gattaca, only humans who are genetically modified can do great things. Only they can achieve. And Vincent he's a normie. He is not genetically modified, but he is posing.
From
No.
like a love birth or something like that.
Yes, that's correct. Right. He was from natural birth, not from test tube birth.
Yeah.
But he is posing as a genetically modified person, so he can, achieve his dreams. And that's the past he is hiding from his company. He's hiding from Uma Thurman. Zach, do you know the memory I associate with this movie?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
You watching it, not really liking it, and me telling you, you just didn't understand it.
No, even before I saw it, you saw it before me. And this is 97. So this is like 8th grade or the summer before 9th grade. You saw it, and I asked you like, "Oh, how's Gattaca? Should I go see it?" And you said, "I don't think you're smart enough for it."
That honestly does not sound like me. I'm sure it was some version of that.
Maybe it was, "You won't get it." But 30 years later, it is now, or 20 years later, it is now, "You're not smart enough for this movie, you dumb.
That's funny. I probably said something like, I don't think it's a movie that you'd appreciate because you're a dummy.
Yeah.
That's probably more. I'm just kidding. That's funny.
But top 100 movie for me, but I don't get it. Can you explain to me, Zach, what's going on here?
I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to. Okay, my number 7 is Hook. This is where Robin Williams was Peter Pan, and even he forgot. But he has explained his secret past to him by, is it Wendy that explains it to him, or Tinkerbell? Probably Wendy, and it realizes he's Peter Pan.
Yeah,
which is funny. He doesn't like actually go to Neverland for like an hour and a half. It's so much longer than I
it's
thought.
not that long,
movie.
but it is like a good 45 minutes. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
My number 7, The Prestige. These are going to get less boring if you guys like the first 3, because they're going to get more like your lists. The Christian Bale character, right? So
What's the deal with him?
He has a secret past. I don't know. You started this thing where you're not spoiling things, so now I feel like I shouldn't spoil The Prestige.
No. I just wasn't spoiling Usual Suspects.
Well, now I'm just not spoiling The Prestige. Christian Bale's character has a secret past.
That's great. Yeah. That's a good choice.
All right. My number 7 is Wesley / the Dread Pirate Roberts from The Princess Bride.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
When the movie starts, we have Wesley, who's a stable boy, with Princess Buttercup. I think she's just called Buttercup at that point. I don't know if she's a princess yet.
She's not.
Okay. Wesley's played by Carrie Elwes, and Buttercup is played by, I'm looking at the poster right there, Robin Wright. Thank you. They're in love, but she's she's going to be a princess. She's nobility. He's a stable boy. They can't be together. Later in the movie, she gets kidnapped by the Dread Pirate Roberts, who turns out is dun 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 Wesley, and she had no idea about his secret past as being Wesley.
Yeah. Nice. Good choice. My number 6 is Memento. And I think Memento, I put on this list because, one, he has a short-term memory issue or long-term memory issue. So he can't remember what his past is. So it's definitely a secret from him. And it's secret from us in that the past is slowly revealed to us and it's not what we were expecting. And so, yeah, and Memento is obviously an awesome movie. And the first time I watched Memento, I also had Arby's for the first time. So, fun fact.
When you eat Arby's, do you think of Christopher Nolan?
I think of Memento.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I watch Memento, I think of Arby's.
You really want some curly fries?
Yeah.
My number 6 is Memento. Next.
Whoa.
I don't have anything to add. It's great. I mean, I do have a very specific thing that's secret to us, but I'm not going to spoil it. So.
Okay.
My number 6 are the sisters Jane and Blanche from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Ooh, good choice.
Thank you. This is a movie about two sisters, Jane and Blanche. And at the start of the movie, Jane is she's like kind of like a Shirley Temple character. She's the star, she's the popular one, and her older sister Blanche is kind of jealous. But we learn that things turn. Blanche becomes then the star of the family. Jane gets forgotten. There is an accident that leaves Blanche paralyzed. And when we finally check in with the movie, our characters are now much older. Jane is taking care of her paralyzed sister, Blanche. And slowly through the movie, we learn more and more about their past.
Yeah. Okay, so the next 5 are definitely kind of in line with Shang-Chi. They have a past that they're hiding from other people, and then it comes out. So my number 5 is Gladiator. Russell Crowe is a super general for the Romans, and then he becomes a gladiator, and he basically doesn't tell anyone that he was a general. And for most of the movie, he's just pretending to be a normal gladiator guy until he faces off against the emperor, and then it's revealed who he is with the most famous line from the movie. And yeah, I mean, I really like the Gladiator a lot.
Well, I just watched this movie. What's that line that's so famous?
My name is Marcus Aurelius, whatever his name.
Okay, yeah.
We're saying his name.
It's kind of like his I'm Spartacus moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he's saying what his secret past is.
Yeah. I rewatched that recently on 4K, and that's a really good movie. It's been a long time. It's a top 100 movie for me. I just hadn't seen it in a long time. It was so much fun to watch again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My number 5 is from 1999. It's The Sixth Sense, which I will spoil because I'd be shocked if people don't know the twist of this movie. But Dr. Crow, played by Bruce Willis, actually dead. He does not know this, and neither does the audience. It's his secret past.
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
We know most of his past. There's just this one little moment in the middle we're all unsure about.
Yeah.
There's a 2-minute sequence we don't know.
Yeah. My number 5 is Evelyn from Chinatown. This is the Faye Dunaway character. In Chinatown, you've got Jack Nicholson, and he starts off investigating I think it's an affair, and then slowly he gets kind of sucked into this whole world of water politics in the 30s in LA, which, by the way, is super interesting. Like the actual story that Chinatown inspired is just as twisty and crazy as Chinatown itself, about how water was brought to LA to make it this paradise that people actually want to live in. But Faye Dunaway kind of plays the femme fatale. Her father, played by John Huston, is involved in the whole conspiracy, and we learn things about her past as the movie goes on. Things that she knows, but are kept from us and from Jack Nicholson.
Chinatown was one of the first noir films I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And so I didn't understand how they tend to work. And I just remember watching it being like, why are we talking about water politics so much? It's so meandering, and this plot is just so meandery. And it's no, that's film noir.
That's how it works. It starts simple, and you just keep going down that rabbit hole and see how far it takes you.
I was I did not think we'd be talking about irrigation for so long.
Why is he getting knifed over water? It's just...
Yeah. Okay, my number 4 is The Lion King. And this is where Simba is chased off by his uncle Scar, and he meets Timon and Pumbaa, and he does not tell them that he's actually the king of Pride Rock, the king. He is the king, and just pretends to be just your everyday lion, and he's running from his past. And you've all seen The Lion King.
Nice. Surprised you didn't go the other one in Lion King.
Which one's that? Mufasa. What's his story? Where was he born?
Why is Scar so pissed?
Who's the Scar? Right?
Yeah.
No.
Like, what's his deal?
I don't remember.
Timon and Pumbaa, how'd they become friends?
No, I don't remember.
What's their secret?
My number 4. Paris,
Sarabi.
Paris, Texas. My number 4, Paris, Texas. So the main
You've
character.
seen Paris, Texas?
Yes. Like within the last 2 or 3 years. I think you got me to watch it.
Okay.
Because you kept bringing it up.
Nice.
And I was like, I guess I got to watch Paris, Texas. The
So
Travis
boring.
character played by Harry Dean Stanton, he like literally won't talk about his past, right? And then through the course of the movie, you get dripped at here and there, but he's very unassuming but mysterious character with a secret past that everybody's curious about, and yet he just doesn't want to talk about it. My number 4.
Nice. What did you think of that movie?
I like it. It's a slow burn for sure. You got to be ready for a lot of staring out into the magic hour. Kyle will hate it for sure, but the last scene in the mirror room it makes the movie for sure.
Yeah. Worth the price of admission.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to see it. I know it's one of those list movies. It feels like it's mandatory watching, but I do remember watching a scene of it in high school English class.
Was it the mirror
We're doing
scene?
it like no, I think it was him walking through the desert.
Okay.
That sounds all right.
That
I had heard a podcast with Harry Dean Stanton on it, and they were making a big deal out of him. And I was like, I don't even know who this guy is really. Like, I know who Harry Dean Stanton is, but I was like, I don't get it. After watching Paris, Texas, I was like, oh, okay. I get it. He's pretty great.
My number 4 is a movie that Zach and I watched together when we were hanging out a couple months ago. This is Lone Star from Spaceballs. Zach, you
What's
remember
up
his
with
secret?
that guy? What's his past?
No, we learned his secret.
What's his secret? I don't remember.
I don't remember his secret past.
So he has this medallion.
Yeah.
That he doesn't know what it means. It was given to him by his parents. His parents are long gone. And it turns out the medallion says that he's a prince.
Mm.
And because he's a prince, he can marry Princess Vespa.
Nice.
Because that's what the movie's really about. Who's Lone Star and what's the medallion?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, my number 3 is The Postman. This is a Kevin Costner film. And he is just your average dude. He kind of is an actor, traveling actor, and he pretends to be a postman. And it gets a little out of control because people believe him and start running with it. And so he has to keep up the act of being a postman. But really, he's just an actor. He's just a liar. And it's my
Do they
number 3.
actually say he's an actor, though? He's not an actor.
Yeah. He is.
They actually give him a backstory? I thought that in The Postman, they don't give him a backstory at all. He's just some guy who started acting like a postman.
Well, what is an actor but a guy that acts?
No, I thought you meant like he was an actor who acted in things, and now he's a postman. They don't
he's
give
a
him any
theater
backstory.
actor.
Yeah,
He's a theater actor.
They say he was a theater actor, not that he's just pretending to be a postman.
Correct. Yes. No, so what he was doing before he found the mailbag was he was going from city to city, putting on one-man plays with the Shakespeare plays he had memorized.
Instead of doing that, he delivered the mail.
Yeah.
He didn't deliver mail. He delivered hope.
Sure.
Absolutely. You guys need to rewatch The Postman, apparently.
I was hoping that movie was going to end soon. Number 3.
High on my rewatch list.
I now have it on Blu-ray.
Does Julie know how you're spending your money?
It was $700. No, I'm just kidding.
My number 3 is from 2007. I am going to spoil this movie. It's number 23. Have you guys seen this with Jim Carrey?
No, but this popped up on lists. I should send this list to you guys. I found one that was like movies with characters that have secrets, and it was like written by people who wanted to like type on their iPhone as fast as possible. And one would be like, I know what you did last summer. The kids did it. So number 23 popped up on there.
That's funny.
So I know the twist now.
Number 23 is very much a Memento situation where it's like the main character doesn't really know about his past, but over the course of the movie, they figure it out. And well, maybe I won't spoil it. It's not great, but if you want to see a Jim Carrey thriller, you should check out number 23.
James, I just had a realization.
Mm-hmm.
When did you make your list?
When did I make it? This afternoon.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you
Just
mean?
curious. Because I know you saw the movie. You saw the movie today. I'm wondering if you made your list before you saw the movie.
No. I made it after.
Nice. Kyle?
My number 3 is Fenton from Frailty. This is a 2001 movie. Fenton's played by Matthew McConaughey. At the beginning of the movie, he goes to the FBI and he has a secret to admit, and that is his older brother and his father, who's played by Bill Paxton, were murdering people that his father deems to be heathens that God was telling him to kill. That's his secret. And then as the movie continues, we go through all the twists and turns. But it's definitely a guy with a secret hidden past.
Wow,
And
I
it's,
totally forgot about this movie.
Yeah, so this is a top 300 movie for me because it's kind of pulpy. It's kind of fun though. And it's very much a 2001 movie. Like you could date this movie just by watching it. You don't need to know the year, but
The twist in this movie is pretty wild.
oh yeah, for sure.
It's wild.
It was a fun movie to watch in college with like friends though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 2, Aladdin. Prince Ali is pretending to be Prince Ababwa. He doesn't tell Jasmine that he's actually just a street rat. He's hiding his actual secret past, pretending to be a prince. And that's gonna burn him in the end, I think.
What will happen next?
Aladdin is my number 2.
My number 2, I kind of don't even want to say the character that has a secret past in the movie because I think it's pretty spoiler if I do that. But What Lies Beneath from 2000.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Robert Zemeckis movie with some people in it. I'm not going to say their names. And yeah.
absolutely.
But one of the characters has a secret past and it plays out in the movie.
Yeah. This movie has the stupid trope of everything could have been solved if a cell phone had worked.
Well, that's
This
any
was
movie
early-
since cell phones were invented.
No, but I mean, like they actually try and contact a character on a cell phone, but they're like on a bridge, which has the exact middle of the bridge is a dead zone. And the character gets the phone call at the exact moment that they're on that bridge. And then all the things that play out afterwards could have been solved if like the person had called 30 seconds before afterwards.
It was early in cell phones, and writers, I think, were still grappling with how do we deal with this?
Yeah, how do we
phenomenon?
Right, how do we
eliminate?
like write around instant communication?
Yeah, and then that era ended with the movie Cellular, with the entire movies like that, and then they're like, okay, we really need to figure this out.
I do remember What Lies Beneath kind of having like a Rear Window vibe to it.
Yeah. I like What Lies Beneath. It doesn't get much respect. I mean, Robert Zemeckis' filmography is like amazing. So, you have to get over like all the Back to the Future movies, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump. You have to dig deep before you end up at What Lies Beneath. But I enjoy it.
Yes.
Good pick. Good
Kyle?
pick. Yeah.
Number 2.
My number 2 is Hanashiro from Harikiri from 1962. This is a movie that I know we just discussed on the Patreon last week, but I do not know if this movie has come up on the main show ever. But now it is.
When I watched it last at Top 10.
Okay, maybe that was the one time. All right. So, quick synopsis. This is a samurai movie, and it's about a samurai, Hanashiro, who is going to a temple where other samurai are committing seppuku. They're committing harikiri, ritual suicide. And he's there to investigate what's quite going on. Why are all these samurai attempting to commit suicide there? And as the investigation goes on, we learn more and more about his past and his motivations for being at that temple.
Yeah, that's a great choice. Okay, my number 1 is Gattaca. It's already been mentioned.
The movie
Kyle,
Kyle
I would love to
can't understand.
I would love to explain it to him sometime, but I'm not sure if that would be fruitful.
Ethan Hawke like space?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Buddy. Uma
Gattaca's
Thurman.
a movie that Gattaca is a movie that I absolutely love. I wish I had someone I could share it with that could understand it at my level, but yeah, great film.
Oh my goodness, it's all made up of letters of DNA.
Pretty cool stuff.
My number 1 it's from Star Wars, obviously. Darth Vader, right? What's up with that guy? Nobody knows what his backstory is. Such a secret.
Now we do.
You do? How do you know?
Because I've seen episode 1, 2, and 3, as well as read some comic books and plays the video games. I think I have a good idea of what's going on with Vader now.
More than any other character in the universe.
Yeah.
I want Yoda's backstory.
I've only seen the first movie. It's very secretive in that movie what his backstory is.
Oh man, just wait till you watch the second one. Your mind will be blown.
All right. I'm waiting. Someday they'll release it.
That would be awesome.
All right. My number 1, I just tried to pick the movie that was most obscure and the one I don't think has ever been talked on this show before. Maybe you guys have never even seen. This is 2008's I've Loved You So Long.
Nope.
All right. Awesome. Got a stumper. This is actually a French movie, and it is starring a very famous French actress, Kristen Scott Thomas. She is playing a woman who is...
That's a French name?
Well, I think she's French-Canadian.
Okay.
Now I'm not sure but she's definitely a French actress. I know. If you hear screens, you look up her lineage, and I'll try and talk about the movie.
So secretive about her lineage.
It's a French-Canadian drama.
She's Cornish.
Okay. Is that English or UK?
Yeah.
Oh, who has also acquired French nationality. So she is a French national. Okay. A few. I'm glad we got that all figured out.
It's totally worth
Anyway,
our time.
This movie is in French. And Kristen Scott Thomas plays a woman who is out of prison after 15 years. She is living with her sister and her niece. And her niece isn't really sure why she was in prison. And her niece is trying to connect with this woman that she barely knows, right? Her aunt. And slowly through the movie, both the niece and the aunt, or the niece and the audience, learned why Kristen Scott Thomas was in jail. This movie is one of my favorite movie trailers. I don't know why, except there's this scene of Kristen Scott Thomas in the trailer yelling the word "quoi," which is "what" in French, over and over again. And it just stood out with me. And the movie delivered what I was hoping it would give me.
Why was she in prison?
You want to know the spoiler?
I want to see the movie, so I don't want to. I don't want to know.
I think it's worth watching.
I added it to my watch list. It's on Tubi right now for free.
Oh, so you can see it in French with commercials.
So if anybody wants to watch this movie, it's very available.
If it's worth watching, it's worth paying for. I'm not going to watch it free on Tubi.
Oh, I'll pay for it and watching commercials. That's for sure.
Zach, if you're not going to watch it, at least want you to watch the trailer.
Okay.
I will
Is
say
the
that
part in the trailer?
five of my friends have seen this on
Okay.
Letterboxd, including Kyle. Kyle ranked it the lowest at 3.5. All my other friends, all 4 of them, gave it 4 stars or above. So
Yeah,
evidently it's good, even though Kyle doesn't like it that much.
Well, I didn't rank this in 2008 because I didn't have Letterboxd, so it was more like a retroactive ranking. But
Sure.
I could see it being a 4-star movie.
So it's an underappreciated film that Kyle also underappreciates.
Correct. But pourquoi? That's the real question.
It's in French
Yes, it's in French.
entirely.
3.5 stars in French. To my memory, yes, it's entirely in French.
Okay. Cool.
Il y a longtemps que je t'aime. I've loved you so long.
Little rusty.
Yeah, a little rusty on that one. It's also
I don't like
in
I don't like the
italics,
title,
so-
but I do like the plot description.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I getting into more like a drama here? What is this?
Yeah, you're definitely getting a drama. You're definitely getting a lot of like the festival laurel leaves in the trailer.
Okay.
James is regretting this.
No, I don't hate those always.
You're also getting secret pasts, and you actually
Nice.
find out why they have a secret past too, James. So you'll be feel fulfilled at the end.
I can't wait to be fulfilled. All right. Is that it?
We want to know which of the hosts of Cinereelists do you want to know their secret past? Right into the show. Whose secret past you would like to know?
I don't think any of us have a secret past, do we? I mean,
We never know until someone
Carl?
asks.
I mean, no, all my secrets are on the podcast apparently now. I don't know. I met Zach in 3rd grade. What happened for those first 3 grades?
I wondered that too. Kyle, you and me should record a commentary track for Gattaca.
where you over explain it to him every scene.
He'll just be like, Zach, what's happening now? Zach, why don't his legs work?
Yeah.
I would love that for sure. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode 494 of the Cinereelists. We appreciate your listenership. Don't forget, you can always send us an email to heyguys@cinereelists.com, REEL with an S on the end. You could also watch the video version of this podcast on YouTube. Find our YouTube channel by searching the name Cinereelists and throw us a subscribe while you're at it. Why not? If we can get to 100, then we can get a pretty URL. And I can stop saying go to YouTube and search Cinereelists. I can just say youtube.com/Cinereelists. So for that reason, go subscribe to us so we can get to 100 subscribers. You
Fine,
could
I'll
also
subscribe, James.
Oh, no, that's okay, Kyle. I don't want you to have to open YouTube.
I have to open YouTube. I have to
I know it's
sign in.
painful.
I'm actually watching a show on YouTube right now.
Okay.
I'm going to admit this. I'm watching Taskmaster.
Typical,
Nice.
like cool guy band teacher. You know what I mean?
What is that from?
I don't know. I just found it.
What? Who was I calling a cool guy? Me? Was I calling myself a cool guy band teacher?
Typical, like cool guy band teacher. You know what
That's
I mean?
you. You're a typical cool
that is
guy
me.
band
That's-
teacher.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's not you talking, though.
No. It's not you talking.
What have I done? What have I done?
Okay, Taskmaster is awesome, right? It's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And it just happens to be on YouTube. It's not a YouTube show.
No, it's the only way I could watch it is YouTube. I have to search. And
Just
watch
wait
on
till
my
you get
Apple
to the
TV.
later seasons and it's not on YouTube. Then it'll become a real pain. Did you start from
Like it's
season
not
one?
pain already.
Did you start from season
No,
one?
actually,
Yeah.
Zach and I watched a couple of season 1 together,
Mhm.
and I didn't really care for the cast in season 1, so I jumped in season 2.
Okay. The best season
And I
is
liked-
7. Season 7.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. There's some, you know how like well, you might not have experienced this by middle of season 2, but every season there's like 1 or 2 people that just take it way too seriously, and they're like borderline sociopaths, I would say. Season 7 is just all of them are sociopaths. They're just all insane people who will do anything to win the game.
Season 3's got a guy where he is basically throwing money at every problem.
Sure.
Like at every task, he's like, "Who can I hire? Who can I pay? How can I buy my way to win this?" So
Yeah,
for sure. Leave us an Apple Podcast review, send us an email, do all the things that we said at the beginning of the podcast. Next week we will probably be playing games. I don't think we're actually going to watch a movie for next week unless we find something between now and then. I think regardless we'll be playing games one way or another, most likely, or maybe we'll come up with a list. We'll see. But nothing to pre-watch. And thanks for listening. We appreciate it. See you next time. Until then, keep it cinereal.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
All right, this is spoilers for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. If you have not seen the movie, why are you listening to this? You shouldn't be, unless you don't care about spoilers. Then listen on. Or if you've seen the movie, listen on. Do what you want. So, spoilers for Shang-Chi. Anything anybody absolutely has to say up front?
I want to talk about Ben Kingsley.
Okay.
Because I have not seen Iron Man 3. And
What?
I kind of, I skipped that one.
What is wrong with you?
There's just tons of movies to see. And for the most part, Marvel movies, I don't always go back and watch them. If I miss someone that came out, then, because they're telling this continuing story, I'm able to fill in the gaps and it's fine. So here's what I think happened, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Ben Kingsley is the bad guy in Iron Man 3, and he plays the Mandarin, which is traditionally an Asian bad guy. Ben Kingsley, not Asian, British. Was Ben Kingsley kind of playing Asian in Iron Man 3? Was he doing yellow face or along that line?
I don't remember that.
I think he was more like Middle Eastern,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just
that
kind of
feels-
generic terrorist.
Okay, generic terrorist. All right. So he wasn't he wasn't doing like Ming the Merciless or anything like that.
But
I don't think it was.
What you find out in Iron Man 3, spoilers for Iron Man 3, is that he's not really the Mandarin. He's just like an actor playing the Mandarin.
Oh, you find that out in Iron Man 3?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a retcon of this movie. Like they're like,
no.
okay. So I thought they were retconning Iron Man 3.
Like the big
No,
twist
in that
Iron
movie
Man,
he's exposed.
Yeah, the big twist in Iron Man 3 is that like the villain of the movie isn't really the villain of the movie.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't some big backtrack on Marvel's part.
No.
Okay.
I wasn't excited when I saw him show up again,
Mm-hmm.
but once they started explaining everything, it made sense that he'd show up because he played the Mandarin and Shang-Chi's dad is the Mandarin. I didn't make that connection. I didn't know the Mandarin had these rings or that kind of thing. So then it made sense that he would be in this movie. And then he really was super funny.
Yeah.
The whole time he was in the movie. I liked his character a lot.
Like, shocking. Ben Kingsley's a good actor.
What a funny actor.
Yeah. I've seen him do so much serious stuff. I haven't seen him do comedy before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so goofy. The scene where he's laying dead and the little headless dog hawk thing comes up to him and he's like, "We're playing dead." It's such an obvious joke and they completely got me.
Yeah.
It's like I was ready to be sad because he lost his friend and then they bust out that line and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was so predictable. How did I not predict they were about to do that?" But they got me.
Well,
yeah.
And
good.
they easily could have just forgot about Ben Kingsley for that whole final action scene.
Yeah.
So like the fact that they threw in just one quick little scene of him playing dead, I thought was perfect. Like, okay, we know he's up to. We don't need to check in with Ben Kingsley for this big scene.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Now at the end, there's a big battle. Basically, this like super evil, soul sucking creature is locked behind a gate, and the gate's being opened, and so he's starting to escape or whatever. And they awaken this like champion dragon from the water. I thought that dragon was so cool, and I love how he was like obviously a water dragon, and he would like spin the water around, to kind of contain him. I thought that was just all visually super cool.
Yeah, and they were forming the water to look like other water dragons.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't just a cyclone of water, it was like the water was making a formation of the dragon. But now there was like 3 or 4 of them attacking the soul sucker. It was just like visually super impressive. It's kind of like you could make the easy decision and just make it a cyclone of water, but this movie was like very interested in making things interesting looking, and I think it paid off for them.
I also liked that the movie didn't need to explain how or why the soul sucker was communicating with the father, pretending to be the wife. Right? No one said like, "Oh yeah, it has telepathic abilities where it can find the weak-minded," or something stupid like that. Like it just, like we just accept. Oh, okay, here's this creature. It's trying to break a way out, and it found a way to do that by manipulating someone. But like there wasn't some, Michelle Yeoh did have like a quick 5-minute scene explaining the history of the. I mean, she did, but it had nothing to do with like its powers. It was more like just what's behind that door.
Yeah, no, they barely explained it at all, which is why I knew they were not going to. That thing was not going to last past this movie.
Yeah, that thing was not going to pop up much more than this movie.
I also liked that they had this mechanism on that big bad guy where he got more powerful the more souls got like sucked up and brought into him. And so there was this like time element. It's like this will rapidly get out of control and will destroy the world unless we nip it in the bud. So you know that like it's now or never kind of a thing. And I liked that.
Yeah, and he was like more susceptible to getting hit the bigger he got. Like the little things in his neck that Awkwafina eventually shoots through. Like those are really tiny and hard to hit at the beginning, but the bigger he gets, it's like the skin doesn't actually get bigger. It's just like it stretches and those holes got bigger and bigger. And then when she finally shoots through it, they're like ginormous. I just like all that visual design again is just stuff that you could really easily be lazy with and just make the dragon get bigger, right? Or the soul sucker get bigger. But instead they like gave things a reason to be. I liked all that about the movie.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the sister a little bit?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Did you guys stay for the final end credit scene? The actual post-credit scene?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it's her in her father's compound, and now she's training a group of elite assassins. I couldn't tell if she has turned bad or if she is just restarting the compound for her own. Like I couldn't tell what her motivation was or at that point. Like are they trying to set her up as the next bad guy or just say, hey, here's what she's up to now? because like we know she's running that fighting ring, so obviously she has her own moral compromisations because of how she was raised by her father.
Mm-hmm.
But I never got the impression that she was like the bad sibling or the evil sibling throughout the movie. So I wasn't sure they're trying to say at the end there.
I feel like she's definitely, of the two of them, the edgier sibling, right? The one that flirts with the bad side the most. Her main motivation in this world is to be her own like boss girl, right? And I do feel like she's in a like, I'm going to take over the 10 rings and absolute power is going to corrupt absolutely kind of a situation with her. So maybe she has decent motives, but I think mostly her motive is just have power through the 10 rings. And I feel like that could very easily go the way her father went.
But does she have the rings at the end?
No. I mean, the 10 rings, the organization.
Oh, the organization, not the physical rings. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I feel and correct me if I'm wrong, don't they even say like, oh, the sister went back to dismantle the father's organization?
Yes.
And then and then at the end it cuts to she didn't dismantle it. She may have changed it so that women and men train, and spray painted the walls.
Added some color.
Something like that. But I think they were kind of saying like, oh, she did not dismantle it. She took it over.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now it might be not necessarily as evil an organization as it was before, but that's to be seen.
Or as powerful.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, she's not immortal like her father was on some level.
No, and this movie sets up the 10 Rings as like this organization that was changing world events.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a shadow government or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although when they say like the 10 rings will return, they didn't say Shang-Chi will return. That's normally what they do. So what does that mean? That like the next movie is going to be more about the sister and the organization?
No, I think if you don't watch the end credit scene, in your mind, you're like, okay, the 10 Rings organization is kaput, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we never have to think about them again. And so we'll still see Shang-Chi, in future movies and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by saying that at the end credits is like, no, this evil organization that you thought was kaput is not kaput, and you're going to see it again. That's how I took it.
All right. I could see that interpretation. What was the other end credits scene? I don't really even remember.
That's where Awkwafina and Simu Liu were at the bar talking to their friends.
Right.
And then Benedict Wong, Doctor Strange, his way into the bar. It says like, oh, is that where we see Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner also?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a long mid-credit scene. It was not like I thought they were just going to walk through that portal and they'd be done. But then they kept it going with
I want to hear 10 minutes of them just summarizing the entire movie, because I loved their summation of the final scene.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. Did they just gloss over? Oh, when they were talking to their friends about what it was. Yeah. Okay.
They're kind of doing like their version of the How We Met story, but through the fighting soul demons.
I liked too the kind of like super low key romance they had between Awkwafina and Shang-Chi. Like
totally.
Like you could tell there was something there, but not like anything anybody was going to act on. But like even at the end when she's like putting her head on his shoulder and you're like, oh, maybe in a future movie type of thing. But it wasn't like a will they, won't they situation throughout the movie. Even though they hint a little bit at that with the grandmother at the beginning. And then they pay it off slightly with the head on the shoulder at the end. But it was not a main thrust of what was going on.
It wasn't your traditional and a whole subplot is their budding relationship.
Right. Yeah. Right. They don't have a kiss at the end or anything like that.
For sure.
I appreciated that.
Yeah, but I could see future Shang-Chi movies focusing more around the aspect that the Awkwafina's character is in danger and he needs to save her, and there's a bigger romance there in future movies. I'd be okay with that movie actually, because
he gets a little jealous.
It would give some of these characters' stake in these things.
Yeah.
I think the Marvel movies where I feel where they can't sell me on the stake, like Captain Marvel, even like I know we haven't had a Hulk movie that's in a long time, but I don't feel the personal connection stake versus like the universe's in peril stake. The weaker ones, the human connection stake, it doesn't work as well. Anything else spoilery that we absolutely need to discuss? Can't think of anything as far. I think we hit the majors anyway. I think Ben Kingsley's a major.
What's going on with the
Probably
sister?
The what?
The sister.
The sister.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the mechanic of this constantly changing bamboo jungle.
Oh, the maze?
thought-
yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was just a fun, inventive fantasy element.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little question about that.
Okay.
I don't call the plot hole. So Tony Leung, like he figures out a way to find the path through the maze, right? And he's like, we have to be at this certain spot at this certain time, and then we can get through the maze. But then the faceless dog hawk also knows a path through the maze.
Yeah, but it's just a much harder path.
Okay, so it seemed like there was two paths through the maze. It just one's the direct route that you can find if you're in the right spot at the right time, and one is if you're a local, you know the meandering route.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I feel like the pig bird just had a mental image of the ever-changing maze and could have led them all sorts of different ways through it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like just has their finger on the pulse of the maze. Whereas the other one is once a year, there's just a standard path that's kind of like you can take once a year.
And just go right through.
I don't think
That's
the
what I was
father
thinking.
made it through the maze either. Like he made it through the maze, but he didn't end up in the special kingdom.
What movie did you watch, James?
Yes, he did. He was at the end. He was trying to break
Remember
open.
they fought and Shang-Chi took the rings from him and he opened the gate?
Yeah, he's the one opening the gate
that's
in the
right.
special kingdom.
He did make it through at the very end. I was thinking of the moment because they didn't show him getting through the bamboo maze at that point. I was thinking of the moment at the beginning that he's going through the bamboo maze and almost goes off the cliff, and the car he's in goes off the cliff, and then he's like,
Sure.
he's not at the forbidden or the magic land. He's at a cliff.
Is that when he meets the mom?
He goes walking
Yeah.
back through the bamboo forest, and that's when he meets the mom. So
Okay, yeah.
I forgot that he would have had to have gotten through it in order to get to the final battle scene, but makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of watching the movie, James is like, this guy next to me sneezing.
Nope, nobody sneezed. It was very everybody was good. It's been a long time since I've been in a room with that many people. Period.
Yeah, I get it.
Especially like elbow to elbow. Like I've been to church a couple times since I got vaccinated, and I feel very comfortable, but I'm also like 15 feet away from the closest person. That's not like
15 feet
that's not
away.
like in my group. Yeah. Like my church, my church, pretty big auditorium, and it's probably 20% full.
Okay.
So it's very easy to sit away from people in that auditorium. Whereas in this case, impossible to do. At least if you wanted to see a Dolby movie or a movie in Dolby. Another criticism, not really spoilery. Probably should have brought this up. Could not tell you what the music was like or what the theme.
Oh, the music was awesome.
Like I can't with these superhero movies, because some of them have great musical cues for very specific characters. I'm going to compare all of them to that standard. And there's just, you could play all the music in this movie. I couldn't tell you which one represents Shang-Chi as a hero. I can tell you what Captain America's is. So I don't know. Maybe in the long run, it'll build and it actually exists, but it was unmemorable to me.
I I normally don't, so I wasn't surprised. I didn't pick up on the different motifs for characters and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But I absolutely noticed while watching it, this music is sweet. I was like, this is fun. I do remember thinking that.
Yeah, I didn't hate
I'm
the
in
music.
James' camp on this one. I don't remember the music at all.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hate the music, but like in Wonder Woman, like that awesome guitar riff, movie one, they had an awesome cue for her that comes up every time she's introduced in a movie, and it works perfectly. As much as I don't
It's
like
actually a cello.
most of those, it's a cello. Oh, it's like electric
It's a cello. It's electric cello. Yep.
That's awesome. Did not know that. But yeah, I think when done right, that's an awesome way you can, level up these superhero movies. And Marvel's been able to do it with a few characters, but some of them, they just, I don't know if they dropped the ball. Maybe they don't even try. I couldn't tell you.
So just so it said, Wonder Woman is not Marvel.
I'm saying like in superhero movies in general.
Yeah.
When they do that and it works, it's great.
Yeah.
It's because we don't have John Williams making these scores anymore. Like, he's the king of motifs.
He did the Superman movies. What else did he do? That's a superhero
Indiana
movie.
Jones, Star Wars, Jaws, Harry
not-
Potter.
Not superhero movies, but okay.
Yeah, but they're all motifs though. Like the Luke Skywalker theme, the Leia theme, the Han Solo theme, the Vader theme, the Indiana Jones theme, the Jaws theme. Like the themes for all these characters,
Sure.
and they're all John Williams because that's his sweet spot right there.
He's good at it, and he definitely has some very memorable ones. But
Mhm.
if you look at his filmography, there's a lot of them that don't have him. Now, it's possible he didn't even try in those movies as far as like coming up with a memorable, moment for people to attach to a character. But I don't know what I'm saying here. John Williams is great. Why was I just criticizing him?
You're saying that you wish the Wet Bandits had a Vader level theme?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I really do. All right.
You know what really did it well was the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah,
Their motifs were insane.
for sure.
That's Howard Shore though. That's a different composer.
Howard Shore.
Awesome. Anything else for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings? All right. Anybody changing their ranking? No. All
No.
right. The 3.5, 4, and 5-star movie stands. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. Until then, bye.